Tonight, cloudy. A chance of rain late this evening, then patchy drizzle. Patchy. Near steady temperature in the mid-30s. North winds around 5 miles per hour.
I've been doing backflips, SKs that fold out. Hollows been causing showouts. Rolling with Michelle, been trapping under a full house. My family matters like herbivore. We like herbivore. I never heard of y'all. Bullets, they could've hurt me, bro. To my black nine shadows, cause emotion in your life, just like Black Lives Matter. I always knew that dreaming came easily, but now I'm having dreams that niggas keep putting heat to me. So I had to take the snub out the box, it was empty. So I had to take the slugs out the socks, FOTG. Niggas know the clan that I fuck with, believe me. It ain't nothing I start dumping. My strap cost 3 bands, shoot like I got 3 hands. Niggas know the deal when we pull up in like 3 bands. A voodoo man tryna shoot me, watch it heat jam, then beat the whole clip with my bullets. They got it.
I've been trapping all day, trying to find a way to get what it is. I know that shit don't last long, either I'll be getting gone or them cups around my wrist. And I'm just here trying to get up off the streets, and they took my boy from me. I'm out here lonely on the block, with my homies on lock, this ain't how it's supposed to be. I've been trapping all day, trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day, man. I'm just trapping all day, trapping all day, trapping all day. R.I.P. to my niggas, free my niggas too. I've been trapping all day, trying to find a way to get about it. I know that shit don't last long, either I'll be dead and gone or them cups are on my wrist. And I'm just here trying to get up off the streets, and they took my boy from me. I'm out here lonely on the block, cause my homies on lock, this ain't how it's supposed to be.
Niggas know it's tapping.
Tell us the story about you started making onion wine.
That thing spits rapid. Niggas won't hesitate to put his face on the pamphlet. Your hustle's backed up. My hustle been doing backflips. SKs that fold out. Hollows been causing showouts. Rolling with Michelle. Been trapping out of a full house. My family matters like herbivore. We like herbivore. I never heard of y'all. Bullets, they could've murked me, bro. I'm behind that glass. To my black nine shadows cause emotion in your life. Just like Black Lives Matter. I always knew that dreaming came easily, but now having dreams that niggas keep putting heat to me. So I had to take the snub out the box, it was empty. So I had to take the slugs out the socks, FOTG. Niggas know the clan that I fuck with, believe me. It ain't nothing I start dumping. My strap cost 3 bands, shoot like I got 3 hands. Niggas know the deal when we pull up in like 3 bands. A voodoo man tryna shoot me, watch it heat jam, then beat the whole clip with my bullets. They got it.
I've been trapping all day, trying to find a way to get about it. I know that shit don't last long, either I'll be dead and gone or them cups are on my wrist. And I'm just here trying to get up off the streets, and they took my boy from me. I'm out here lonely on the block, cause my homies on lock, this ain't how it's supposed to be. I've been trapping all day, trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day, man. I'm just trapping all day, trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day, man. I'm just trapping all day, trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day, man. I'm just trapping all day, fucking trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day.
Penitentiary chances or a casket laid out. Them the only 2 ways the shit plays out. Picking fence foreign shit is wicked in the caged house. Gorillas in the cell picking they braids out. My nigga lock gun, and so is young too. So is Fresh and Mars, tell me who I'm supposed to run to. When I'm in need of a shoulder, when I'm trying to be righteous, but the street life making me colder. Took the white Pyrex nights, baked in a soda. Goons pop like you shaking a cola, wasted a sober. When the word's out, it's on, no escaping them rollers. No room for error here, it's one mistake and it's over. But I'm trying to do this rap, that's my word, cuz. Stuck between a dream and these fiends, I gotta serve drugs. 2 options, pick one, the choice is on you. Make sure it ain't the wrong move, it's grand.
Had revolvers like cowboys, the French like Indians, and royalty like Englishmen. Christians still reading our Corinthians. Rap still murders on the Islington. Every day's an incident. Try to talk to niggas, they ain't listening like so be it. To catch the places they was looking, but they don't see it. You see it. Sister, who did we pushing in that collegiate? Niggas want rep with the camera and I really mean it. Tell me I'm a genius. The way I tell these stories like I seen this. I add the hurrah, so the realest for the Libras. Fuck your horoscope, I got a horoscope. Put it on the top of the rifle with that Ferrari provoke. Never knew niggas was singing till they hit high notes. Wasn't playing ball in 9 to 5, suspension dope. Catch me in the trap house till the minute I cash out. Sipping on Guinnesses, Heinekens, and
I've been
Dragon's
trapping all day, trying to find a way to get about it. I know that shit don't last long. Either I be dead and gone or them cups are on my wrist. And I'm just here trying to leave, trying to get up off the streets, and they took my boy from me. I'm out here lonely on the block, cause my homies on lock. This ain't how it's supposed to be. I've been trapping all day, trying to find a way to get about it. I know that shit don't last long. Either I be dead and gone or them cups are on my wrist. And I'm just here trying to leave, trying to get up off the streets, and they took my boy from me. I'm out here lonely on the block, cause my homies on lock. This ain't how it's supposed to be. I've been trapping all day, trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day, man. I'm just trapping all day, trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day, man. I'm just trapping all day, trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day, man. I'm just trapping all day, fucking trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day.
Cutting heads off. You worried if you cut from the same cloth. You was playing Game Boy, niggas was playing Game Gods. Niggas merely rock on your block with a chain on just to get hit up, can't make it. Like Trayvon, just stay calm. Niggas got yay on the stove top, metal like crayons, turning them heat rays on. They paid on debts and purchase more. But they only wanted 2 ounces for purchase for. You know we only wanted new houses that's on the shore. But my lawyer gotta study evidence in the court. To a threat sport in the coop, playing these greasy loops. After every time I shoot, that ski mask turn to a tool. Still running that nation of domination for Rook. P89 and the barrel slide is too cute. Hit up in the dome when they try ducking. Still better than just standing there and trying nothing. Kill them little pups, I'm a G-Dog. I have them in the streets playing leapfrog. American muscle over a Tesla. Pulling up the bulldog is burnt like a Presley. Let me tell you how I feel. You niggas ain't real. That shot ate your food like a meal. Let me tell you how I feel. You niggas ain't real. That shot ate your food like a meal.
Hold on, let me get some pimpin'. Fuck you think you do it? I pull up in a Buick, blast this music. You know how we do it. Yeah. Like Montel Jordan and these Jordans. All these bitches is swarming. Still I ignore them. Yeah. Cause all these girls boring. Yeah. Anytime I come through, making girls get abortion. It's abortion. It's Charlie, you know me. Rolling in a Harley with short. I just hope you got the 40. 20 niggas in dark clothing, that's what we learned. Yeah. You should hear the arrogant names these niggas recall. Yeah. And that bitch was on car. Before Asian or Dream, we had a battery dog. Fuck them all, middle fingers for law. We ain't with the blase blah, hopping out of a car. I was asking her what's up with the top. Passerby's ass police, what's up with the chop? Another body, just another day. You acting like you ain't even know the word was underway. That's when we hit you from a blind side, sitting in the chair and even thinking how the time flies. Let me tell you how I feel. You niggas ain't real. That shot ate your food like a meal. Let me tell you how I feel. You niggas ain't real. That shot ate your food like a meal. I know they thought they were finished, they came with 3 rounds. Straight up out of G-Town, trains going eastbound. They used to talk about all these niggas, they know it's me now. Package get caught supported, that's how we rebound. F4TG get Brony, AR Paisley, Trey Bars be the hardest up in these streets now. You best not trespass here, baby, just keep out. We ain't fuck around with the steering if we gon' wheel out. You ain't got the metaphor, nigga, that's when that skill out. Big clock, big shot, knocking all of your teeth out. By now you know they all got heat. They got no bars, but all got beats. Trap music.
Keep it up. For the following county, Johnson, North Carolina.
And fucking over, and it's
Service
literally.
has issued a flood warning for the News River and Smithfield.
Keep it up.
For Monday morning
Keep it
to
up.
Tuesday
Keep it
evening.
up.
At 8:15 p.m. Sunday, the stage was 12.5 feet. Flood stage is 15.0 feet.
We cutting heads off. You worried if you cut from the same cloth. You was playing Game Boy, niggas was playing Game Gods. Niggas smelling rock on your block with a chain on just to get hit. Like Trayvon, just think how niggas got yay on, it's stove top, nothing like Crayons, turning nigga he raised on, they paid on, they purchase more, but they only wanted 2 ounces for purchase for, you know we only wanted new houses that's on the shore, but my lawyer gotta study evidence.
What did that take? 2 minutes to essentially turn the music off. Thank you. So, keep it up, and the funniest part is I'm attempting to say it's literally like clockwork. Literally on they're aiming for somewhere near the top of the hour.
Service forecast for Raleigh and vicinity.
This is how people waste their fucking
A
days.
chance of rain late this evening. Then patchy fog.
It's fucking radio.
Near steady temperature in the mid-30s.
I can't think of a more stable application to something that just connects to a URL. It doesn't do anything with that stream.
North winds to 10 miles per hour with gusts up to 20 miles per hour.
People. They don't like the fact that I say bad
Keep
things.
paying Julie Payette a generous pension and an even heftier expense account for the rest of her life. This despite the fact she served just 3 years as Governor General and resigned in controversy. As a former Governor General, she is into an annual pension of nearly $150,000. She's also entitled to claim up to $206,000 a year to cover expenses. There are now questions about the generous support offered to former governors general and whether someone who leaves the post under a cloud should be eligible. Nasty storm has its sights set on Atlantic Canada. Environment Canada's up to 30 centimeters of snow and 30 millimeters of rain is expected in northern New Brunswick, with wind gusts up to 90 kilometers per hour. Snow is expected to change to rain and freezing rain in Nova Scotia. Prince Edward Island looking at 25 centimeters of snow, 20 millimeters of rain, gusts up to 90. The storm is expected to reach Newfoundland Tuesday night, delivering significant snow, ice pellets, rain, and high winds until Thursday afternoon. This is the Canadian Press.
I can't tell you what her name is.
In the Global Weather Center, I'm Carter Bisaki. We'll look at your forecast for Sunday night and Monday. Of course, it's the very first day of February. Tomorrow, Groundhog Day, right around the corner. It was a cold one today, and that's really because those winds were coming in from the northeast, and they were rather gusty throughout the southern parts of the province. So we're going to continue to see that overnight tonight. We'll go down to a low of...
Oh, that should have listened.
जब भी किसी को तबलीग करेंगे तो वो यही पूछेगा कि हम आपका पैगाम क्यों माने.
Chin AM. So notice that I haven't got to anything serious at all except for like by fluke.
The Nobel Prize banquet venue at Stockholm City Hall has become a COVID-19 vaccination center. Municipal conference with the CEOs of companies manufacturing vaccines and warned them of the threat of coronavirus variants. Von der Leyen says it's crucial to prepare for the new variants. British centenarian Captain Tom Moore, who raised millions of pounds for the health service during lockdown, has been hospitalized with COVID-19. His daughter, Hannah Ingram Moore, announced on Twitter that her father tested positive for COVID-19 last week and remained home until he needed additional help with his breathing. She says he's not in the intensive care unit, but is being treated in a ward. The World War II veteran won the public's hearts in April when he was filmed doing laps around his garden in a village north of London. He hoped to raise £1,000, but he instead raised more than $41 million for the National Health Service. He broke 2 Guinness World Records, was knighted by Queen Elizabeth, wrote an autobiography, and set up a charity. Prime Minister Boris Johnson is among the people who've wished Moore a full recovery. The Nobel Prize banquet venue at Stockholm City Hall has become a COVID-19 vaccination center. Municipal Commissioner for Finance Anna Kona-Giromir says they hope to encourage more people to get vaccinated.
And when I heard that the vaccine is really, it demands a lot of space, then we said, okay, we have this sports hall, we can use them, but we can also use the blue hall because everyone knows where it is, and we can use it in a positive way and also send the message. It's really important to take the vaccine right now.
Vaccinations were administered for the first time inside the Blue Hall on Sunday. The hall will be used as a temporary venue for people to receive their COVID-19 shots. The Nobel Prize banquet, which brings together scientists, politicians, and royalty, was canceled last year because of the pandemic.
Oh yeah,
and that's
I got
the
an
news.
email telling me I can start to prepare my taxes. Damn it, that's all day and a half I've been working on that. Oh, what's this? CGTN.
Hello and welcome to the Asia edition of Global Business here on CGTN.
Asia edition. Whoa. You
Coming
do
up
other
on the
editions?
program. The U.S. economy shrinks by more than 3% last year, despite a rebound in the last quarter. Hundreds of Chinese companies set to report an improvement in annual earnings led by communication services and healthcare sectors. And Davos concludes day 4 with a focus on harnessing the technologies of the 4th Industrial Revolution. The U.S. economy shrank 3.5% last year, despite a 4% rebound in the last quarter. This is the country's first contraction since the 2008 financial crisis, and it's biggest drop in over 70 years. Giles Gibson crunches the numbers.
A long wait for a coronavirus vaccine in New York City.
Problem. Yeah, I feel like though, we're busy, but I feel like I'm doing less things better. Instead of jumping around so much, I feel like I'm more immersed in whatever project I am choosing to do that day. Yeah, there's not a lot of there's less outside noise, I guess, right? Outside noise, focus. Yeah, focus. Yeah, I understand that. I get that. Yeah. Well, it's okay, like, to just take some time and chill. Like, that's okay, too. I feel like we're all in this. But we're doing that first now. But we're chilling too much. We need to get moving now. Like, COVID, go away. Is it ever going to go away? All right, COVID, why you gain and how to lose. So why is COVID having such a big impact on the way we move, Gina? Well, you would sort let's talk about weight gain. You would sort of assume, okay, so maybe you're not getting to the gym, you're not being as active, you're not moving enough. That might be one thing. Or maybe it's like, the extra chips, or maybe it's the extra alcohol. But I would actually put my money on it being stress. That's where I would put my money and my focus.
Need your touch to get through my day. Watching you sleep in my bed.
Is this chin pot? What do we call this?
It's forecast for both the US and the world this week, predicting 5.5% global growth and 5.1% for the US.
The upgrade is owing to positive effects that have come upon with the onset of vaccinations in many countries, and also because of the additional fiscal policy support that's been provided in some economies like the US and Japan.
Good afternoon, everybody.
US President Joe Biden wants to keep the taps open, asking Congress to approve a $1.9 trillion relief package as states roll out unprecedented vaccination programs. Giles Gibson for CGTN in Washington.
Stay in the U.S. It's been a wild day for the U.S. stock market. Online broker Robinhood has restricted trade in about 13 highly volatile stocks, such as GameStop and AMC Entertainment. The restrictions allowed customers to sell but not buy. The broker's chief executive said the move was intended to protect the company and its customers after some amateur traders have driven up shares of GameStop 1,700% this month.
How did you make the
John
Chinese
Terrett has more.
GameStop is turning into a real saga, and it's showing very little signs of going away anytime soon. GameStop is a troubled mall or shopping center store. They will sell you video games, they'll rent you video games, they'll buy your old video games from you, they'll sell you consoles in order to play video games. But
you're presenting it like it's a practical type of a business investment. Jesus,
directly onto their laptops or to their phones. Now, within the last week or so, a new board member was appointed to GameStop, and he is seen as somewhat of a business guru. He's the co-founder of Chewy.com, which is the pets website. Wall Street, in particular, one hedge fund, let it be known that they were still intent on seeing the stock price of GameStop fall, and they were going to short sell to bet against it. Now, in the absence of any sporting events in the United States, or very much gambling, some people have turned to day trading or retail trading in order to make a bit of money, dabbling in stocks, in other words, on the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 and all the others. And using a website like Reddit, for example, and others, they've been getting together and they decided to play Wall Street at its own game. No, they said, we will not allow the GameStop stock to go down. We're going to buy it against the wishes of Wall Street. And so it's set up a battle royale between David and Goliath, if you will, between the little man and the little woman in their basement and the elite Wall Street investors. It is a kind of popular revolt. Santosh Rao of Manhattan Venture Partners says what's unusual about this is the sheer size of it all, the scale of the revolt.
The technical level, this is nothing uncommon, nothing illegal, goes on for a long time, has been going on for a long time. But I think in this case, there was a socio-economic twist to it. It was this small guy. It was a sense that the retail investor has been shut out of this whole thing, the whole party, the fear of missing out. They all want to be part of it, and they can be now.
Short selling, which some of these hedge funds have been doing against GameStop, is where you either borrow the shares of the stock from somebody else, or you borrow money to buy it, then you immediately sell it with others, driving down the share price. Then when the share price goes down, you use your own pot of money to buy the share at a lower price. When it eventually goes back to more than where it was before, you cash out, pay back the person you borrowed from, and pocket the difference. It is legal, it is legitimate, and Wall Street likes it because it's a way of clearing out the dead wood, if you will. But that's exactly what these day traders or retail traders have been campaigning against. And there are pictures of them online, lying on balconies in Australia, for example, drinking a gin and tonic and trading and showing you the huge gains that they've been able to make. The hedge funds, of course, feel the exact opposite. They have lost a lot of money. Now, there are companies that help people day trade, like Robinhood and TD Ameritrade and Stockpile and Charles Schwab. They've been taking action during the course of the first to limit the way in which some of these people can buy and sell these stocks. In one case, it's led to a court case and lawsuit against at least one of those companies. And there are other companies involved as well, beyond GameStop, names like BlackBerry, the phone maker, Nokia, the phone maker, some of the airlines, and also AMC, the movie house. There is also a political element to all of this. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a very young congresswoman from New York City who represents the Democratic Party. She has said that for years, Wall Street, and in particular the hedge funds, have been using their ability to buy and sell stocks in the blink of an eye as a way of topping up their piggy bank. She says what's happening now is that ordinary men and women in their basements are using the tactics employed here against institutions like this, and that it is some kind of revenge for the ordinary person. At the end of the Thursday session, GameStop stock was down 44%, well off its high of around $400 at $193 apiece. John Terrett, CGTN, outside the New York Stock Exchange.
Now, for more discussion on the U.S. stock market and the country's economy, Chen Jiahe, Chief Investment Officer at Novum RK Technologies, joins us now via Skype. So, Jiahe, GME up 60% in after-hour trading after plunging 44% on Thursday. Talk about volatilities here. So, what's your take on the whole GameStop saga?
Doesn't apply to China.
This whole thing is a very typical example of financial speculation. The fundamental of the company is very simple. It is an old-fashioned game-selling stock with no close danger of bankruptcy, nor with a good chance of thriving. But around this simple stock, you can see there are two sides of traders on this GME stock. The first side is the short sellers. They bet the stock will go back to the intrinsic value, which will be right at last. But the time can take much longer than anticipation, and clearly they have failed on this so far. Since the rally of the stock price made them insolvent before the stock price goes back to normal. The second side is the positive side. They keep on buying the stock and believe that price rising will change everything. They are winning for now, but finally they will lose since the stock is way out of the fundamental. So overall speaking, this GME case is a very classical financial speculation case. I think it will worth studying for business school students many years from now.
Just short sellers betting against these stocks have lost billions of dollars so far. But what have they done wrong, or have they done anything illegal?
That's nothing illegal that they have been doing. No, I mean, they have been doing everything according to the trading rules, that you short sell the stock that you don't like. That's all right. But there is a very simple mistake that they have made here, which is never short. This investment principle has been taught by many great value investors like Warren Buffett, Peter Lynch, Charlie Munger, that even if you are 100% right about the value of the stock, you can still lose money and lose heavily through shorting the stock. That is, the time a stock remains overpriced can be much longer than any investor remains solvent. So the shorting from the beginning, that is the biggest mistake that they have made. Of course, finally their judgment will be right. GME is not worth hundreds of dollars, but at that time, most of the short sellers will just be out of the game.
Now, U.S. market regulators are monitoring the situation right now. Do you think this will subside on its own, or what needs to be done?
Well, if the regulators do nothing, then finally the situation will still subside on its own sooner or later. Every financial bubble finally subsides on its own, like the dot-com bubble, the Asian financial crisis. It is just a matter of time. The story will end, but without the regulator, investors will pay a huge amount of cost. Those retail investors who buy the stock at hundreds of dollars, which actually worth maybe just 10 or 20, will pay a huge price at last. That will mean their savings will be gone. It is real money we're talking about here. Salaries, energy bills, student tuitions.
Just went to GameStop and bought a couple games.
So I think it is quite right that the regulator shall step in at this time when the market is totally out of order.
Thanks very much for your insights, and we'll talk in just a bit for more on other topics.
That is the ringtone right there.
Now, it's earnings season here in China, and the reports so far have shown a pretty mixed picture. With the full story.
9 companies have so far reviewed their annual reports for last year, with 8 of them saying they are making more money than they did in 2019. In their 2020 earnings pre-announcements, however, only 53% of Asia-listed firms had forecast growth, while 28% said they expected lower revenues.
This is very dry.
In the spotlight,
very dry.
Care and lifestyle options. While your comfort and safety always come first. Let's connect. We'd love to get to know you and create an experience tailored to your unique needs. Learn more at amica.ca.
Canadians are facing unprecedented challenges. Trying to juggle work, kids, school, and home is daunting, and sometimes something gets lost in the shuffle. It shouldn't be your health. The 640 Toronto Health Series explores factors that impact your health and what you can do to keep on top of things. Hear the latest.
Valuation actually is a bit high compared with last year. So if the
Jesus, that's true.
And find out everything. There has to be someone finding out who is doing this and how they can better stop this kind of practices.
Yeah, and also the experts mentioned the real losers in this game are the consumers who are possibly believing many of those fake positive reviews.
That's right.
Artificial padding of reviews, because they might see 100% positive reviews and then there you go, they place the order.
Reviews are all fake. We have lots
only
of 5-star
or
reviews.
70%
Reviews are all fake.
legitimate.
We have lots of 5-star reviews. You're confusing me.
This is something that's happening on those platforms, and I think they need to really deal with this. And back to the recipient on the surface. Okay, one thing is their personal information being leaked. Another thing that's
leaked or leaked?
Something you will never notice. When people think about, hey, what is going on? Who is sending this to me?
They need to do some research, and that's a kind of extra time and energy.
No, you need to delete it.
That's costing these recipients life.
Just delete it.
And those are the scenarios people rarely would pay attention to. And you would think it's, oh, you have received
pay a bill without them sending you the bill.
Yeah, you need to be happy about it. It's just you know, it just after taking your information, making use of it, and you get a little bit of compensation. Yeah, I'm sorry. Not everybody.
It's not something. It's not something that they really need.
Yeah.
Let's say I saw this short video online. one of the customers, and not customers, one of the recipients, she received something like a floppy fish toy. Can you imagine? So you know, you put a battery in the fish and you hold it. It's like a live fish in your hand, twisting and, you know, shaking the body of the fish there. So it's not something. It's useless. You don't need that as an adult. If you want to play a trick to your friend on Halloween, you know, it could work. But again, this kind of thing is consuming the recipient's life. They don't need it. Okay.
I think even if they send me something that's quite useful, say some shampoo, right? Everybody uses
making
shampoo,
that
right?
crap that we buy.
I still dare not to use it because I don't know who sent it to me. Are there any bad chemicals in this shampoo? The thing that I can do is I'll try my best to find out who sent me this. If I couldn't, I'll just put it somewhere. I will never use it. So this is going to give a lot of trouble for some people. For people like me, right? I will not use stuff that people send me. Say you send me some food, okay? Do I just pick it up and eat it when I don't know who sent it to me? I dare not.
You better not.
Yeah, this is really not advised.
Because
it's not medieval times. Like
these people probably would send you some random stuff, and those are very low price.
Doesn't a guy wearing a mask with the app with a cell phone in his hand with a bag say,
and you always worry about your personal information being leaked.
Yeah.
So this is really a headache for the customers. I mean, there could be some customers who are really, I don't know, who are really thinking, oh, it's okay, I don't know who sent it to me, but it seems like
we don't accept cat. We're not accepting cats.
It's something for free, so I can just use it. I'm not ruling out that there are people who are like that, but I think for a lot of people, they will be growing very much concerned because some unwanted things sent from nobody arriving at their doorstep.
Yeah, and these recipients, like Nicole and Blind, they have actually complained to platforms like Amazon. And they hope that Amazon will do more to stop brushing and ban sellers who participate in the scams. And according to them, I quote here, Nicole said, I just think they need to be a little bit more concerned with shutting those stores down and making sure those sellers can't use the platform anymore. I mean, this is reasonable for the recipients think like this, but if you think about those platforms for Amazon and eBay, whoever buys stuff, the customers buy stuff on the platform, they are the customers. But for Amazon and eBay, the third-party merchants are sort of customers also because they pay
illegal to send
kind of
sealed bag of shit to somebody?
Fee, club membership fee every year to those platforms. So at the same time, behind the screen, they are, partially customers to Amazon and eBay, and they of course they need to obey the rules. They need to stick to the rules. But at the same time, there is a weak bone, existing in the platform management because they don't want to say, hey, I have to shut you down, okay? And today you shut down one store, tomorrow 2 stores, and you seem to be really harsh. But again, fewer and fewer merchants would put up the
Yeah, it worked so well here the last 250 years.
And transparency. Today's session centers around advancing global and regional cooperation. China's digital economy was valued at almost 36 trillion yuan in 2019, second only to the United States worldwide. According to a report by the China Academy of Information and Communications Technology, the sector accounts for more than 36% of China's GDP and contributes over 67%
China's lending money to the US, and the US is borrowing.
Meanwhile, another report from the Shanghai Academy of Social Sciences said 4 center areas saw growth in the digital economy, including Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei, and Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area. Wow. The Academy also noted that for corporate competitiveness, the United States, Japan, and China top the list. China's Huawei, Lenovo, Tencent, and Alibaba also joined the top 15 global competitive digital companies. One of the focuses of this year's Davos is inequality caused by digital divide. On the sidelines of the virtual Davos 2021, Xia Cheng caught up with Zhang Yaqing, former president of Baidu and now dean of Tsinghua University's AI Institute, to discuss the capital and concerns behind digital technologies. Zhang is a panelist at an AI development panel at this year's Davos. They started by talking about the economic scale of artificial intelligence in the next decade.
You talk about somewhere between $15 trillion to $20 trillion of new opportunities created by AI in the next decade.
So this is about the
GDP of China and India combined. It is tremendous opportunities. So we indeed see rapid application of AI, especially deep learning, for every segment of industry. For example, more efficient supply chain management, better business insights, better understanding of your customers, removing intermediate layers, better risk analysis, high level of automation.
There's a gap between the poor and the rich when it comes to the access into technology and data. So these digital technologies might, to some extent, expand the wealth gap in the world to increase actually the inequality in this world.
Now we have AI. I think as industry, as the society, we have to be very conscious and responsible for that, making sure we provide the opportunities, whether it's training or new jobs for the people, and make sure nobody is left behind. In fact, in this particular panel, I will talk about what I call the 3R principles. The 3R first is responsive AI. The second is resilient AI, and the third is responsible AI. So responsible AI is we work on technologies. We want to make sure it is responsive to society, to the industry needs. And the resilient, we need to advance our technologies to become more transparent, explainable, and robust. And we must reduce data biases and leakage. So we must understand the use and the potential misuse of technologies.
Do you think China has a good policy and investment environment for responsible AI development?
First of all, AI is core to the national innovation strategy, and it's a key part of the overall economic policy at many different levels. And number one, of course, is talent. In China, right now, is number one in terms of the talent, especially young talent in IT, the computer science, and AI. And second is capital. We look at the scale of R&D investment, government and companies, and venture capital. It's just tremendous. The velocity of that increase just tremendous. The other, of course, is the scale of the market. China is the largest. No question about
find somebody.
And the other thing is infrastructure, broadband, wireless, digital payments, large-scale data centers, mobile internet. And China actually is ahead in those areas.
However, China-U.S. decoupling, especially tech decoupling risk, still remains. And for example, chip business is going to be affected, and chip is very important in the development of AI. So how would you estimate the impact of the potential China-US tech decoupling on AI development?
Decoupling, if it happens, I hope it doesn't happen. If that happens, we're really bad. Which means China, the US, and the entire world. It will hurt every country. Hurt China, hurt US equally. So unfortunately, I understand there is major rhetoric and current against the globalization, and especially in the technology arena, supply chain, some against the chips. And this whole thing was also exacerbated by the pandemics, the geopolitical conflict, some of the rising protectionism in the US.
Rising protectionism.
So if that happens, I think we will lose a major
That includes the UK's thing with the EU.
And it's a huge loss to the world.
And that sums up this edition of Global Business. I'm Xiaoman in Beijing. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.
You're so complicated. Nuts in the mix? What do you get?
Yeah, they're too hard. They're too hard to digest first thing in the morning.
Okay.
I would lay off the nuts. Yeah, too hard to digest first thing in the morning. Yeah.
Any other weight loss tips before we take a break?
Yeah, it's not always about eating less. A lot of times people aren't eating enough food, and that's their issue. They're very stressed, their body's depleted, then they try to eat less and give their body not enough, and that can actually reinforce the need to store fat. So it's not always about feeling like you're starved or deprived. Sometimes it's just about giving the body what it needs. It's feeling a need to store fat because it's not getting what it needs. So you kind of have to change figure out why your body in particular is feeling the need to store fat. Start from there.
Top foods that we should be eating to maintain our health.
Lots of great healthy fats, not enough good fats. Again, we're stressed out. We need more good fats, avocados, nuts, seeds, oils. Be liberal with those. Buy really good quality dressing. Buy really good quality olive oil. Pour it on things. Take a fat supplement. Protein is overrated.
What is? What did she just say?
Good roughage. You gotta poop. Food goes in, needs to go out. Keeping yourself regular. You can have leafy greens with every meal. Yeah, it's a great idea. You don't need to make a huge, massive salad, but it does.
Good, because I'm not making any tip salad. Not on purpose.
Everything together.
The hulusi is a free reed wind instrument, originated in southwest China's Yunnan province, gaining its popularity among a number of ethnic minority groups, particularly the Dai people. The history of the folk instrument can be traced back to the pre-Qing period, about 2,200 years ago. Its name contains two parts, hulu and si, indicating the instrument's shape and structure. It is held vertically and has three bamboo pipes that pass through a hollow gourd. The center pipe normally has 7 finger holes, and the outer 2 are drone pipes.
Mr. He is the chairman of the hulusi group of the China Ethnic Orchestral Society. He said the instrument is famous for its uniqueness and exquisite sound quality.
There is a saying in Yunnan that the sounds of the hulusi are able to deliver deep and rich emotional expressions, which can bring peace, relaxation, and pleasant nostalgia. Another attractive feature of it is that a musician of one hulusi can produce the music of a small ensemble due to the structure of the instrument, which sounds like this.
Yeah, but have you ever heard a beatboxer simulate like 8 different instruments in a row? What was that?
Mr. He has established an intimate connection with the instrument for nearly 60 years and even considers the hometown of the hulusi, Yunnan, his second home. I believe it's safe to say that a 6-decade bond is no ordinary fixation. So what was it about the instrument that initially attracted Mr. He?
我是1961年，那时候我18岁，国家组织一个中国青年艺术团，一共18个人。
My first trip to Yunnan province was to perform for the local villages in 1961 with 17 instrumentalists from my orchestra. One night, after we finished our performance, I heard someone was playing an instrument that I had never heard before. I was attracted by its sounds. I ran outside to see a young stranger playing a pear-shaped instrument. After a brief exchange, I offered him my deeds to show my appreciation. The next morning, when we were about to leave for the next performance, I saw him once again. He gave me a new hulusu that he made that night. I was moved beyond words. I never saw him again, but whenever people ask me who I learned the hulusu from, I always refer to this young man as my first teacher.
别人问我何为兄，你的启蒙老师是谁？我的启蒙老师就是这个人。
I feel that was a truly divine encounter, and I'm sure one day the two will meet again. Today, Mr. Hood brings us several classic and modern hulusu pieces, handpicked from his album and several other influential musicians, which are definitely worth hearing. On that note, we have The Ancient Song, which is one of the oldest hulusu works. Let's enjoy.
It sounds too much like bagpipes to me. So sorry, I can't take it in because of that.
With a virtual coach are more motivated and present with throughout their workout than those who work out on their own. Some studies have shown this. Dedication to improving yourself also helps in intrinsic motivation, which involves doing something without knowledge of a reward, improves performance and efficiency levels. This is also according to research. If you remain motivated throughout the virtual workout, you'll be more likely to double check each move for accuracy. Even so, there are some common exercises that can all too easily be done with incorrect form and lead to unnecessary pain, improper muscle buildup, and even injury. So what are some of those key mistakes to look out for? Let's take a look particularly.
Oh, right. Don't eat nuts.
It's okay.
God damn it.
You know what I mean? Like, we got to get rolling on this. And
around the world, transmitted it to everybody else. So to attack the Eleusinian mysteries was also to attack the power of Athens. So the political importance of these rituals is also
last week or 200 years ago.
And
2,000 years ago.
Himself, it was understood that
before or after
talking about the mysteries was seen as taking part in a conspiracy to overthrow the Athenian government, something in government, something that actually happened a few years after. And the democracy, the Athenian democracy was overthrown.
So you can see why the Athenian authorities would want to promote the mysteries. For political reasons you've explained very clearly. But they went on for the best part of a millennium. So why did they remain so popular? Christine?
First of all, on the whole, Greek religion had a very public aspect and a very communal aspect.
We all got 4 hours to kill on an airplane or a train, damn it.
In cults and rituals such as sacrifice, where they would sacrifice animals, and then they would distribute the meat and eat them together collectively as a communal event.
Paragraph right near the end. Power comes on, you close that shit. You don't look at it again for another 2 years.
Cult and ritual that focused on the individual connection with the divine, and that is not something we see necessarily in other ritual aspects of Greek religion when it was centered on the city-state, on the communal activity of religious practice. So I think one explanation for the popularity is exactly this creation of a personal connection
of a personal transformation, of an emotional journey that the initiates went through, and this creation through the initiation of a personal connection with the deity itself. The second reason I would highlight was that through the initiation, individuals now became a part of a wider network of initiates. So not only they had a special relationship with the divine, but they had now a special relationship, a secret knowledge that bound them with other individuals, not just from their own community, say Athens, but from all over the Greek world. So it was a very good networking event. It made you a member of a special circle. So that is obviously another reason why we say it was so popular. Now, on top of that, the fact that the Eleusinian mysteries did promise, as far as we can tell, better chances in your journey to the underworld must have been another extremely appealing reason, and one that explains their very long history and popularity.
There have been a number of suggestions about the cleansing power which rites such as these could have had. The big fright followed by joy being a way to come to terms with one's mortality and accept one's place in the greatest circle of life. Areteus, a physician and writer from the 2nd century AD, summed it up in these words.
The initiates are turned on by flute music and gladness of the heart, or by drunkenness, or by instigation of those present. This madness is divine possession. When they end this state of madness, they are in good spirits, free of sorrow, as if consecrated by the initiation to the god.
What? Moreover, we shouldn't forget that ancient Greece was polytheistic, so the more gods you knew, or the more gods you could persuade to look after you, the better. Right, Julieta?
Absolutely. So we do have evidence for individuals who try to collect as many images.
That it works with that natural melatonin production. It helps to calm the nerves and helps the body prep for sleep. It also helps to draw water into the bowels. So it's not a sleep aid, and it's not
like
for bowel movement, but it works really well for both of those. And if you can combine it with some L-theanine, which is really great for stress, and sometimes some of the magnesium citrates actually come with L-theanine added. So those are all a really great combination. Just for stress and sleep.
So I think you had a question about the vegan diet.
Yeah, you know what? I've been trying to eat plant-based for quite a few months now, and it's going really well. And I went in to buy my like a collagen powder the other day. Was it? Yeah, collagen. And the girl was saying, you know what? This is from it's bovine. So it's a meat-based thing, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize that. So she suggested something else, but she said it's not as good. So any tips for the vegans out there?
Gelatin.
Yeah, are you eating fish at all or no?
No. What is it?
No fish, no meat, no eggs.
Older just to become a vegetarian, scrap the vegan.
I think it's a lot easier for sure, but you know, I'm trying the plant-based thing and it's going pretty well, and my son is doing it with me, so that really helps. And you know, I feel great, and I'm taking all of this stuff, but I don't, you know, I take a magnesium, I take it with the calcium. Vitamin D, I just do a couple drops. I don't know how many drops. Yeah, so is there anything else that's vegan that you can suggest? Like instead of the omega-3s, which are like a fish-based thing, is there a vegan version of that? Or there is. Yeah, of both of those. There's a vegan version of the omega-3. So there's a lot that actually there weren't a lot on the market in the last couple of years. That has changed. So I just go to health food store, tell them you're looking for a vegan omega-3, and they get a food source to other sources, like chia seeds, for example, are high in omega-3. So there are omega. Before you had to do like a 369, there wasn't enough source omega-3 to make it a full omega-3, so they had added 6s and 9s in there, like from flax oil and such. But now they're actually straight up vegan omega-3s you can look for. And then the collagen, collagen comes from bovine source or fish source. Marine is a little bit better for your skin, more bioidentical, but there are some vegan collagens out there as well. So I don't know the brand offhand, but I know there are some good ones that just hit the market in the last year.
Thank you. We need to take a break.
They know stuff I'm not sure of.
Three of us say. We need to have you on regularly, Tina. You have so much information. You talk so quick, too. We'll be right back.
Yeah, I still love drinking.
If there's one vehicle made for winter in Canada, it's a Subaru. Whether it's rain, sleet, or snow, symmetrical all-wheel drive works full-time to give you all the traction you need to be safe on the road. And if there's one dealership ready to help you through this winter, it's your local Subaru dealer.
I don't know why, but my
By
grandfather
ensuring
bought
all
bulldozers
safety
once.
protocols are in place, we've made shopping for a Subaru as safe as driving one. Book your appointment and bring on winter safely at your nearest Subaru dealer.
Have you been scammed, swindled, or ripped off? I'm Sean O'Shea from Global News.
Goddamn
I wanna
phone
make
company
things
sends me
right.
a bill
Email
every
me,
month. I'm like, I paid this already. I'm sure I paid this already.
That's SOS@globalnews.ca. Global News believes in a greater Toronto. Weeknights at 5:30 and 6.
You want to get bigger?
How's your
Like
blood
wider
pressure?
or more
Pretty good.
people?
What if I said fixed or variable? 3 years or 5? 10, 25%?
All the mysteries true. I am the vine, the branches, you, and you.
For you. Listen, it was for you.
We're nearly out of time, but I do want to ask what for you is the most important, or perhaps the most enduring legacy of the Demeter myth and the Eleusinian mysteries? Christy.
For me, one of the most touching aspects of the stories is exactly the story of the foundation of the mysteries as it is recounted in the Homeric hymn. Now, most of our narratives and our stories from the ancient Greek world focus around the experience of men. They are written for men, for audiences of men, and they display, they recount the male experience. The Homeric hymn to Demeter is one of the very few texts that we have that actually gives you the female perspective. The grief of the mother, her search for the daughter, the emotional journey of the woman, all these are at the heart of the narrative and at the heart of the mysteries. And that for me is very, very touching. The fact that through this, despite the fact of how much we don't know about the mysteries themselves, the very heart of the story is a female experience. And the female experience is something that we don't hear much about from the ancient Greek world.
Philippe.
For me, it's one story that I like very much. It's Mircea Eliade, the Romanian historian of religions, a professor at the University of Chicago, who tells about it in one of his books. It was reported in the 1940s, so just during the Second World War, that a bus going from Athens to Corinth stopped and took an old woman who climbed on the bus, but she didn't have the fare, she didn't have the money to pay for the fare. So the bus driver asked her to step out of the bus at Eleusis precisely. And as soon as she exited the bus could not be started again. They were stuck. And they were waiting, and the other passengers gathered money to pay for the old woman. And as soon as she got back on the bus started again. And then she just was very angry, and she said to all the other persons, everybody is too egoistic, and you don't take care of each other enough anymore. And that's why great misfortune are going to happen to Greece very soon. And then she just disappeared out of thin air. That's a story that was reported in. It's of course we don't know if it's true or not, but it was reported by the newspaper, and it was
real specific for a fake story.
And it just tells us about how Demeter was, because maybe it was her. It's still some figure very active in the imagination.
Isn't there like an emergency shut-off somewhere at the outside by the door?
With. My thanks to Professor Christy Konstantakopoulou, Professor Esther Aigner, Dr. Julieta Steinhauer, and Dr. Philippe Mattei. And I'll leave you with a snatch of ancient Greek music, reimagined by the contemporary composer.
No. Reimagined, thanks. They didn't keep musical notation like we do. How do you know what the fuck it's
coming up? Let's talk about that. Well, first though, studies show, I was reading a study that said that you are what you eat. Everything that you consume can affect different parts of your life, from how you look to the way you smell. And of course, scent is really important when you think of attraction. Both go hand in hand, right? You want to smell good. So,
I smell like
what are some of the healthy foods that we should add into our diet to up our attractiveness?
No, that's a great question. I think, again, back to the healthy fat and water. Because when you're all shriveled up and all dry, that ain't attractive. Cellular function, cellular health,
enough water, enough hydration, and good fat make nice, good.
Oh, fuck off.
A media conference, and I walked in there and I sat down and looked at the media crowd and said, you know, hi. I said, please be nice.
I need like a home and garden house improvement radio station.
Here is the latest national
they play this shit on weekends. Paid advertisements or whatever it may be.
Cloudy.
It's the home improvement show.
Then patchy drizzle.
You've got a show by the same name in every broadcast market, but it's a different show.
5 miles per hour. Chance of rain 40%.
There's the gardening guy.
Monday, patchy fog in the morning. Cloudy with a chance of rain showers. A chance of snow showers in the afternoon.
They podcast any of that? No.
Accumulation.
I need an internet radio station to tune that in sometimes.
North winds 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts up to 20 miles per hour.
I want to hear them talk about installing toilets that have the biggest drains possible.
Cloudy. A chance of snow and rain showers in the evening. Little or no snow accumulation. Cold.
And then tell me what type of
near steady temperature in the lower 30s.
Orchids or
Northwest
whatever.
winds 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts up to 20 miles per hour.
Out front of the
Chance of precipitation 50%. Tuesday, partly sunny. Highs in the lower 40s. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Tuesday night, mostly clear. Cold with lows in the mid-20s. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts up to 25 miles per hour.
Winds.
Wednesday and
Canadian
night,
pressure.
Clear. Highs in the
temperature
mid-40s.
is rising.
Lows in the mid-20s.
Watch your steps so you don't slip.
Sunny in the morning, then becoming partly sunny. Highs around 50. Thursday night, cloudy. Not as cool with lows in the upper 30s. Friday, cloudy with a 30% chance of rain. Highs in the upper 50s. Friday night, mostly cloudy with a 30% chance of rain. Lows in the lower 40s. Saturday and Saturday night, mostly cloudy with a 40% chance of rain. Highs in the mid-50s. Lows in the upper 30s. Sunday, mostly cloudy with a 40% chance of rain. Highs in the lower 50s.
So I've got this Wikipedia app, and every fucking time I go anywhere near
Northeast Piedmont.
before I go near it, something goes wrong with it.
Fog was reported. The temperature was 34 degrees, the dew point 33, and the relative humidity 96%. The wind was variable at 3 miles an hour. The pressure was 29.82 inches and falling. At Burlington, it was cloudy. The temperature was 34 degrees, the dew point 31, and the relative humidity 88%. The wind was north at 7 miles an hour, producing a wind chill of 28. The pressure was 29.83 inches and steady. Elsewhere across the state this hour, at Asheville, fog was reported with a temperature of 36. At Charlotte, fog was reported with a temperature of 37. At Greensboro, fog was reported with a temperature of 31. In Roxborough, fog was reported with a temperature of 32. At Lillington, it was cloudy with a temperature of 37. At Lewisburg, it was cloudy with a temperature of 32. At Fayetteville, light rain was falling with a temperature of 39. At the Rocky Mount Wilson Airport, it was cloudy with a temperature of 35. At Wilmington, rain and fog were reported with a temperature of 57. At Cape Hatteras, rain and fog were reported with a temperature of 53. Here is a special weather statement from the National Weather Service for the listening area. Patchy freezing rain, freezing drizzle, and freezing fog will be possible tonight across
freezing
the
fog. I never thought of that one.
Patchy freezing rain. Freezing drizzle
This
and
fog
freezing
just
fog
freezes.
will be possible across
Greasy loops after every time I shoot. Let's give it to me with two class. Still running that nation of domination through hook class. P89 and the purple slide is too cute. Head in the dome when he tried to duck. Still better than just standing there.
Please use extra caution and watch out for heat black ice. This is NOAA Weather Radio. All hazard station WXL.
Let that soak into your brain for a second. Watch out for any black ice.
This program originates from the National Weather Service.
Watch out for something invisible.
Transmitted from an antenna located on the UNCTV tower near Chapel Hill. Expected to approach the region late in the work week, bringing a chance for precipitation. Now for the official national.
What is going on there? I don't care. Can we just pick some?
I've been trapping all day, trying to find a way to get up out of this. I know that shit don't last long, either I'll be dead and gone or them cups are on my wrist. And I'm just here trying to leave, trying to get up off the streets, and they took my boy from me. I'm out here lonely on the block, cause my homies on lock. This ain't how it's supposed to be. Niggas know it's average. When pushed on the shove, we gotta have it. And don't say a word about that thing that spits rapid. Niggas won't hesitate to put a space on the pamphlet. Your hustle's backed up. My hustle been doing backflips. SKs that fold out. Hollows been causing showouts. Rolling with Michelle. Been trapping out of a full house. My family matters like Urkel, we like herbivore. I never heard of y'all. Bullets, they could've murked me, bro. Hide behind that glass till my black knife shatters. Cause emotion in your life, just like Black Lives Matter. I always knew that dreaming came easily. But now I'm having dreams that niggas keep putting heat to me. So I had to take the snub out the box, it was empty. So I had to take the slugs out the socks, FOTG. Niggas know the clan that I fuck with, believe me. It ain't nothing I start dumping. My strap cost 3 bands, true like I got 3 hands. Niggas know the deal when we pull up in like 3 vans. A voodoo man tryna shoot me, watch a heat jam, then beat the whole clip of my bullets, they got an I've been trapping all day, trying to find a way to get up out of this. I know that shit don't last long, either I'll be dead and gone or them cups are on my wrist. And I'm just here trying to leave, trying to get up off the streets, and they took my boy from me. I'm out here lonely on the block, cause my homies on lock, this ain't how it's supposed to be. I've been trapping all day, trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day, man. I'm just trapping all day, trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day, man. I'm just trapping all day, trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day, man. I'm just trapping all day, fucking trapping all day, trapping all goddamn day. Penitentiary chances or casket laid out. Them the only 2 ways the shit plays out. Picking fence foreign shit is wicked in the caged house. Gorillas in the cell picking they braids out. My nigga lock on, and so is young too. So is fresh and Mars. Tell me who I'm supposed to run to when I'm in need of a shoulder. When I'm trying to be righteous, but the street life making me colder. Took the white Pyrex nights baked in the soda. Goons pop like you shaking the cola. Wasted the sober when the words out of sign. No escaping them rollers. No room for error here, it's one mistake and it's over. But I'm trying to do this rap, that's my word, cuz stuck between a dream and these fiends, I gotta serve drugs. 2 options, pick one, the choice is on you. Make sure it ain't the wrong move, it's grand. Yeah, revolvers like cowboys, the French like Indians, and royalty like Englishmen. Christians still reading our Corinthians. Red still murders on the Islington. Every day's an incident. Try to talk to niggas, they ain't listening like so be it. To catch the places they was looking, but they don't see it. You see it. Sister hope that we pushing in that collegiate. Niggas wore purple like Cameron, I really meant it. Told me I'm a genius. The way I tell these stories like I seen this. I had the hurrah. So the realest for the Libras. Fuck your horoscope, I got a horoscope. Put it on the top of the rifle with that Farrakh provoke. Never knew niggas would sing until they hit high notes. Wasn't playing ball in 9 to 5, so spit your dope. Catch me in the trap house till the minute I cash out. Sipping on Guinnesses, Heinekens, and Dragon. I've been trapping all day, trying to find a way to get up out of this. I know that shit don't last long, either I be dead and gone or them cups are on my wrist.
And I'm just here trying to make